My name is Staff Sergeant Jessica Sporleder. It's Jessica Sporleder. So I work in the HAAMS training section. So HAAMS stands for High Altitude Airdrop Mission Support, and we are a center that supports all high airdrops above 20,000 feet for the entire DoD and allied people and countries. So people contract us to come out and set up everything they would need for high altitude, from like a decompression sickness plan for emergencies. We rig their plane full of oxygen. We fly with them, ensure their jumpers or aircrew are safe and not susceptible to different altitude sicknesses. And then if they do get some sort of altitude sickness, then we're there to help them through it, get them down safely and treated. So our mission, we're the only ones that do this in the whole DoD, right? So we're not only working for the Air Force, we're working for all branches. But for the Air Force in general, they do a lot of high altitude stuff for joint operations. And to ensure that stuff pops off, whether it's like a high altitude jump where people can use it as an insertion tactic, like in the real world stuff, or if it's like an airdrop for MDA or NASA, we can be there to support that. And it's a huge range of stuff, not just jumps, airdrops and cargo and all of that. It's to teach these people how to fly super high safely. Today, that's a certain part of our job. Like I mentioned, we work with jumpers a lot, and to train our own people here, we have 2 formal courses a year that we do, and then we do local flights every month. And in those local flights, we have role players. And who is a better role player for a physiological emergency than a physiology tech? No one. So we need our own jumpers to be able to act as role players in high altitude scenarios to train our own. Because the first time a phys tech goes on the road to treat an actual emergency should not be the first time. It has to be done here. So we've developed our own organic jump program to ensure that happens. Today, we were prepping people for their next step. So you saw 4 people packing, 4 people putting on the parachute, doing their post-opening procedures, their cutaway procedures, their emergency procedures. That stuff is essential when you get to school or when you start jumping, but those are all our static line jumpers that are next to become free fall jumpers. And free fall is our ultimate goal because we want to go high altitude, and that's who they were. Okay, I got it. So training for us is important because we are on the road all the time. Sometimes we go mission to mission once you are fully qualified and you don't have a lot of time to train while you're here. So when you are here, you need to do local training to refresh your memory on all of these emergencies, and then you need to help with the upgrade training for the younger people. On average, for a phys tech, our training pipeline is about maybe 6 months to a year to get someone fully qualified to be a complete mission-ready phys tech. So we are constantly doing training here at Charleston, if not out on the road with them. So yesterday we had a training scenario where I gave them a schedule that had all of these different aircraft on it, and then the different times, the different altitudes, the amount of people or jumpers that they wanted to put out at a certain altitude. We follow AFI 11-409, where we have our own reg that states whatever altitude you're at, how much time you need to pre-breathe oxygen, you can only stay between these altitudes for a certain time. There's a huge table that explains all of that stuff. And you can only do certain flights so many times in a day or a week. And sometimes that stuff can get confusing because we are so like joint operation oriented, and you could have 4 planes out there that could be an Army plane, a civilian plane, and then a C-130 or C-17. But all of those regs could be different. So you need to make sure that everyone is following the reg that they're supposed to follow safely. And to figure that out can be kind of complicated because of us and who's on the plane, how many crews there are, and we did a scenario where they had to figure that out. And I think it was successful. I like my job because, one, I get to train other people. I'm in the training section now, and I think that's where I belong because I really like to teach and help people learn something that I needed help with when I was in training. Another part of my job, obviously, it's really cool, is that we get to jump out of planes. Jumping is so fun, and I really look to progress in my jumping like throughout HAAMS and the rest of my life. And then the third thing I think that I get out of this is the traveling. I have been all over the US now to everywhere. And then we also go overseas sometimes, and I'll probably get to do that too. So this is the main job in our entire career field, that you get to travel and do operational things. And you can see how important physiology is to the Air Force.
I'm Staff Sergeant Tristan Baker, Tristinbaker. HAAMS, Operations, Scheduling, and Admin. Training for me is everything because if you don't do it every day or you don't do it long periods of time, you're gonna forget it. And that's kind of like with our job, is if you're not doing that training all the time, you will forget it, and you can see that happen with anybody. Okay, so I was learning how to pack a free fall chute, and it's really challenging. Just one, it's something that's not, a lot of people aren't used to seeing a lot. And my biggest challenge was trying to, what would you call that? Like making a cocoon out of the chute and then getting it into the bag, where you'll end up putting it into the container of the whole parachute itself. The people you work with. I think that's like the most rewarding thing, is seeing those different types of missions that you get to be a part of and support that not a lot of people get to see at all. If not, like maybe 1% of the entire DoD. Basically, we go up, and anything above 20,000 feet in the air, anytime that ramp doors open and the aircraft, we are there to monitor the air crew, the jumpers, monitoring their oxygen, making sure they're okay, and any type of physiological incident goes down, we're there for that emergency and to get them helped out. I understood it because you do see those kind of schedules throughout the different trips that we go on. So I've kind of seen it before, so it wasn't super stressful, but you can definitely see the people who haven't seen those kind of missions, that they were kind of, their minds were in a jamble. They didn't know kind of what to do.